Welcome to our first major module in the SAT preparation exam series, Algebra. So algebra is one of the most important areas of math you will study in school. Okay, it represents a major part of the digital SAT math section as well. For the SAT, algebra primarily involves linear expressions, linear equations, linear inequalities, systems of equations, and linear functions. But algebra is not simply a collection of rules for moving numbers and letters around. It's a way of describing relationships, identifying patterns, and solving real world problems. So, in this lecture, we'll examine the core ideas that will help you approach SAT algebra questions with greater confidence, accuracy, and speed. So there are two ways to think about algebra, right? It could be understood through two closely connected perspectives, equations and functions. An equation usually asks you to find an unknown value. For example, 3x plus 5 equals 20. Your goal is to determine the value of x that makes the equation true. A function, however, describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. For example, y equals 3x plus 5. So instead of finding only one value of x, this equation describes an entire relationship between x and y. On the SAT, you must be comfortable with both perspectives. Some questions will ask you to solve for a particular variable. Others will ask you to interpret what a variable, coefficient, slope, or intercept means in a real world situation. The most important principle in solving equations is equivalence, right? An equation tells us that two expressions have the same value. You can think of it as a perfectly balanced scale. Whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other side. Consider this. X plus 7 equals 15. To isolate x, subtract 7 from both sides. So x plus 7 minus 7 equals 15 minus 7. Therefore, x equals 8. We're not magically moving the 7 to the other side. We are performing the same operation on both sides to preserve the equality. This way of thinking is much safer than memorizing phrases such as move it across the and change the sign. Those shortcuts may work in simple problems, but they often lead to mistakes in more complicated equations. All right. So after solving an equation, develop the habit of checking your answer in original equation. So substitute x equals 8, right? So add 8 plus 7 equals 15. So both sides are equal. So the solution is correct. Now, one thing, checking your answer can take only a few seconds, but it protects you from losing an easy SAT point. All right, now about function. A function can usually be represented in three main ways, okay? Symbolically with an equation, tabularly with a table, or graphically with a graph. So a well-prepared SAT student can move comfortably between all three representations. Here's an example, all right? Imagine a gym charges a $10 joining fee and then $15 per month. So we can represent the total cost with equation C equals 10 plus 15M. So here C represents the total cost, okay? M represents the number of months, 10 represents the initial joining fee, and 15 represents the monthly charge. Now, let us represent the same relationship in a table. Okay, so the month when you're joining, that's 0 month. So you're first paying $10 and you're paying $15 for the monthly membership. So in month 1, you're paying $25. In month 2, you're paying $40. So 25 plus 15. And in third month, you've paid $55, right? Notice that the total cost increases by 15 whenever the number of month increases by 1, okay? On a graph, this relationship appears as a straight line. The graph begins at the point, 0, 10. The value 10 is the y-intercept because it represents the cost when the number of months is 0. Yeah. The line rises by 15 units every 1 unit increases, that is, the unit is number of months. So this rate of change is the slope. The same number 15 appears in 3 different forms, right? In the equation, it is the coefficient of m. In the table, it is repeated increase in cost. On the graph, it is the slope of the line. So these are not separate ideas. They are 3 different ways of expressing the same mathematical relationship. So the digital SAT frequently asks you to connect these representations. You may need to select the graph that matches an equation, or construct an equation from a table, or interpret the slope and intercept in a word problem, all right? So now let's move to a linear function. So a linear function describes a relationship with a constant rate of change. Suppose a delivery company charges fixed service for $20 plus $4 for every mile traveled. So the total cost can be written as C equals 20 plus 4m, right? So the total cost increases by exactly $4 for every additional mile. So that constant increase is what makes the relationship linear, okay? In table, a linear relationship has a constant first difference. If the input value increases by equal amounts, the output value also changes by the equal amount, right? So if time x increases by y increases by 3. Therefore, the rate of change is constant and the relationship is linear. Later, we will study nonlinear relationship, such as quadratic and exponential functions. In those functions, the outputs do not increase by the same amount each time. So for now, remember this key idea. A straight line relationship has a constant rate of change. So many, students understand equation, but struggle when those equations are hidden inside a paragraph. So the key is to identify 2 pieces of information, the starting value and the rate of change. Consider this situation. A streaming service like Netflix charges a one-time activation fee of $12 and a monthly subscription fee of $8. So the starting value is 12 and the monthly rate is 8, right? So the equation would be C equals 12, the starting price, and 8m, which is a monthly price. In a linear equation, it will be written like y equal mx plus b, right? The value m represents the slope or rate of change, while b represents the initial value or y-intercept. So, but be careful. Letter m in the formula y equals mx plus b traditionally represents slope, right? In a word problem, however, a variable such as m may also stand for months. Okay, so let's remember that. Always use the meaning given in the question. There's rarely only one way to solve an SAT algebra problem, okay? You may be able to solve the equation symbolically, sketch a graph, create a small table, substitute the answer choices, test convenient values, use the built-in Desmos graphing calculator, right? Your goal is not to use the most complicated method. Your goal is to use the method that is fast, accurate, and appropriate for the problem. So for a simple equation, algebraic manipulation may be quickest, okay? For a system of equations, graphic may reveal the intersection immediately. For a question with numerical answer choices, substituting the choices may save time. For a function question, a table may make the pattern easier to recognize, right? A well-prepared test taker does not rely only on one technique. They examine the structure of the problem and select the most efficient approach. So before we finish, remember the central idea from this lecture. First, equation and functions give us 2 different ways to study algebra. Equations help us find unknown values, while functions describe relationships between changing quantities, right? Second, solving equations depends on equivalence. Whatever operation you may perform must preserve the equality of both sides, right? Third, functions can be represented with equations, tables, and graphs, right? You should be able to move between all three. Fourth, linear relationships have a constant rate of change. That constant appears as the coefficient in an equation. The first difference in a table and the slope of a graph, right? Finally, remain flexible. The SAT rewards students who can choose an efficient strategy rather than mechanically applying the same method to every question. In the next lessons, we'll apply these principles to solving linear equations, working with inequalities, interpreting slope and intercepts, and solving systems of equations. Keep the three pillars of SAT algebra in mind: equivalence, multi-representation, and constant age. Once these ideas become familiar, algebra stops looking like a collection of confusing symbols and it starts becoming a logical system that you can control.